All your base art belong to us.
You're listening to Gamers Digest, a podcast where your hosts put the controllers down just long enough to talk about gaming news, rumors, and anything else they can think of. Here are your hosts, Spider-1 and Mr. Factastic.
Welcome to Gamers Digest.
We're here.
That was a little rougher transition than normal because we couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I was like, I guess it's the part where we have the intro voiceover going.
Yeah, I had my headphones hooked up because last night I was playing stuff and I didn't want to wake people up, so I unhooked the speakers and just hooked the headphones in. And normally I remember to put that back, but I didn't. So it happens. It's kind of a hectic afternoon, so I ran into some problems with the Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It didn't get a red ring or anything, did it?
No, it's account problems. I got that Entertainment for All package almost 2 years ago now, so I'm almost at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I submitted to a 2-year contract, which is basically just Xbox Live for 2 years. Normal price, $15 a month or whatever it is. Actually, it looks like it's $12 a month. When I went back and looked at the contract. But this is the second time this has happened where it's like you haven't paid your bill, and then I go in there and it says I don't have a contract. So like I get conflicting messages. Like the Xbox thinks I have a contract, which is right because I do. But my account says I don't. And I actually looked at my billing statement. And I haven't been billed for at least 3 months. That's as far as I went back before I started running out of time. I don't think about it because I really haven't played it that much.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's been sitting next to this computer, not hooked up for at least 2 months.
Yeah.
So that can make sense. So I'll probably spend some time with good old Microsoft support and yell at them a little bit.
Get it all figured out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm close enough to the end where I may just pay it off and be like, because I think if I did the math right when I bought it, if I remember when I bought it the right time, I only have like $36 left. So rather than, wait 3 months and get billed $12 a month, I may just say, you know what, here's $36. Take this stupid subscription contract
and
off.
Shove it.
And shove it. I mean, I'll still have Xbox Live Gold, but at least, they'll take that stupid lock off of it and say, it's good.
Yeah.
So, but I did get some gaming in this week. It's funny because the whole reason I was setting up the Xbox wasn't even for gaming. It was actually so we could watch TV in the bedroom.
Oh,
because we use the Fios app, and we also use Amazon Prime app. If we ever remember to.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah. So that that TV's been sitting in there not being used. So hooked it back up. So, we kind of banished Nikki to the dungeon. I got in the doghouse last week for that kind of, like get out of here. And then, I don't think about it because I'm so focused for the show mode of, I got to get this ready for the show. I got to put the green screen up, which hopefully this week looks better. I got some new lighting, so it does seem, I see some particles and stuff, but it's definitely a lot better than it was last week.
Yeah, for sure.
But I get in that mode, and then I don't think about, like, oh, crap, there's, like, nothing in there. There's, like, a crib, a cat, a dog, and nothing. So her and a baby are in there, and, when she brought it up, I did feel bad, because I was like, yeah, this is just me not thinking about it. So I said I hooked the Xbox up, and, of course, I hook it up, and it doesn't work. So she's still in there with the crib, the dog, the cat, and the baby.
And the nothing.
But we did put her laptop in there, and we did make sure, she at least has enough sustenance for the next 2 hours. Stuff for the baby, stuff like that. So I don't think we put any diapers in there, so this will be interesting.
Oh, wow.
I just thought of that, so whatever. But back to gaming. Let's actually talk about it. I did get a lot of gaming in this week. I did WildStar. I'm still kind of waning on WildStar. I still log in, once a day, do kind of the daily thing, and then I log out because there's still not a lot of people that have really gotten into like the hardcore 50, max level stuff yet. It's growing, but it's still not quite there yet.
The community isn't built up enough.
Right, and I'm in a pretty big guild. Like at night there's at least normally 20 to 30 people still online. But a lot of them are like me. They have families. They're very casual, and a lot of them are jumping around. Like they have like every class to like 30
on
or
different
something.
servers and stuff.
Yeah, different size, different classes, different races. Whereas I focused on the one and then said, you know what, I'm done.
This is me.
We did a little bit of Warframe.
Yes.
I wanted to post the footage, but when I went back, it looked like that was what caused the crash because we were playing Warframe and then it crashed. And I had to figure out what was going on. It actually looks like XSplit was the reason it crashed because all the footage was just crap.
Wow.
So if we do Warframe again, I think I'm going to use a different capture system. And it could have been Warframe's new patch. Maybe they just didn't play nice.
Yeah.
But I did Warframe. Hearthstone launched its first, not really expansion, but it's kind of an adventure. Where Hearthstone is the Blizzard's online card game. I've talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
I haven't done a review on it because it's out there, and at this point, whatever.
Has the Android version come out at all yet?
Not yet. They're shooting by the end of the year, from what I hear. But the iPad version is out, so it is on tablets. But they launched their first adventure, and rather than focus on players versus other players, it's actually a single player campaign where you play against the AI. And you basically go through all the bosses of Naxxramas, which was a raid dungeon in World of Warcraft. One of the more popular. It had, lore-wise, it had like a lot of major figures in it. So that's cool. And they're opening one wing a week. And last week the first wing was open, and that one's free. And then it's like $5 a wing after that, or you can get like all of them for $20. And there's 5 wings.
Okay.
So, you save a little bit of money by buying all of them. I actually had enough in my Blizzard balance left over because I cleaned out my Diablo account before the auction house closed and just sold everything.
To go to a credit?
Yeah, to go to the Blizzard balance. So I had enough on there, so I just bought it outright. Second wing comes out today. I was actually going to stream that after this because you have another podcast.
Yes, I do, yes.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But I was going to stream it afterwards, but I realized that it doesn't come out today until 11:59 PDT. So I'm not staying up until 3 a.m. to stream it.
Yeah.
So they kind of weird. So I will probably stream that because I'm going to start 2 series, and they're both going to be titled "I Suck At."
Okay.
I suck at Hearthstone, and the other one I've been playing this week is I suck at Heroes of the Storm.
Instead of Let's Play, it's Let's Suck.
Yeah, basically, because I'm okay at Hearthstone. I'm not great. I think I could be better if I dump money into it, which I refuse to. Other than buying the adventure, which I already had money for. So I think I'd do better if I bought cards, but I'm just accumulating them. But Heroes of the Storm is the MOBA that's in alpha right now, and I've been playing that, and I'm no good at MOBAs. Like, I tried League of Legends, and I was terrible at it. I tried Dota 2, and I was terrible at it, and that was with somebody coaching me. Somebody that's actually pretty good at it. So I started Heroes of the Storm, and I'm getting better at it. I'm finally to the point where I'm not dragging the team down.
Okay.
And I had a really good game before we left because we went on a walk and we went to the store. I actually had a really good game where I was highest in damage, highest in XP, highest in contribution.
Nice.
So I was like, yes, I'm not terrible. And we won.
Oh, cool.
Just to give you an idea how bad I am at this game, my team record, which it doesn't show you, but I mentally keep account because it's not hard. I've won 3 times and I've lost 11.
Wow.
So now there are some other factors which I will explain in the series. I'm not gonna go into that here.
So you're like the Jacksonville Jaguars of Heroes of the Storm?
My teams are. It's all my team's fault. No, some of it is my fault. Maybe all of it. But so you've been busy the past week. You went back into film mode.
Yes.
For Power Rangers, your Power Ranger fan.
Power Rangers, and I'm doing.
I'm not going to say the other one. You have another film on the burner.
Yeah.
But you're going on another podcast later. So
it's the It's actually a podcast that pre-records their recording, so it's being recorded tonight. I think it's going to go live on Saturday, I think, the 2nd.
Okay.
It's for, like, I think the show's called the Ranger Command Power Hour or something like that. It's, yeah.
Today on public access.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't make fun of because we're on public access.
I mean, yeah, it's Power Rangers.
And it's exposure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's exposure, yeah.
Yeah, any exposure is exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Yeah, they saw my, they seen my stuff, and they actually they did a show, I think the week before last, and one of the hosts on the show, it's like 5 or 6 people that host the show.
It's like a team.
Yeah, it's like a team, and like one of them like name dropped me and like my fan film because they were talking about the real Power Ranger movie coming out, and they just name dropped me and my fan films, and I was like, hey, cool, thanks for the shout out, and then they asked if I could be on. So
there you go. Is it video, audio?
It's audio.
Audio.
Yeah, it's an
That's
audio
cool.
podcast. Yeah,
So you can do it in your underwear.
I probably will.
You know, if we weren't sitting next to each other, I'd probably do this in my underwear.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
yeah, if we did it like in our rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally would.
Or at different locations,
Mhm.
you know,
Oh,
totally. Just shirt,
Mhm.
underwear.
Mhm.
So there are some news. There is some news. There are. It was a long day.
It's been a long day.
It has been a long. It's only Tuesday, and it's already been a long week for me. This is like the busiest week I've had at work for probably the last probably 4 months.
Wow.
And it's only Tuesday,
Dang.
and I'm not even close to being done. So
Wow.
they just they scheduled everything together. They're like, you have to do this. Oh, and then somebody else scheduled. Well, you have to do these too, and then somebody else is like, you have to do these, and then I have all my normal stuff I have to do anyway. So that it was basically Monday and Tuesday.
Mm.
So it calms down tomorrow, so I get a little rest.
Nice. That's going to be September for me.
Yeah.
In September, things are going to start slowing down. I mean, I still have my big project that I'm working on, but I can actually take my time with that, to do the finessing. But 2 of my films will be out by like the first week of September. By then, so then I can kind of rest.
Cool.
Yeah.
So all right, so we got some news. The first of which is a warning. GameStop is launching its newest promotion. Everybody who watches this show hopefully knows what GameStop does and what GameStop, is. They buy and sell used games and stuff like that.
They kind of rip you off. Well, they rip you off.
Everybody's seen those memes where it's like a wall of video games and they're like, GameStop gave me $3.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Well, GameStop actually is launching their own credit card. And here's the thing. If you're a Power Ups Rewards member, you're already approved. You are already approved.
No matter your credit.
No matter your credit. That's the first thing that should be like, ding!
Mm-hmm.
They are going to charge a 26.99 interest rate on this credit card. And to give you an idea why that's bad, if you don't know credit cards, if you don't know how it works, maybe you just turned 18 and you're like, oh, I play a lot of games, this is great, I can charge it and pay it back later, which is what they're going to push for it.
Mm-hmm.
26.99 is worse than what people with bad credit get.
Yeah.
Like this is a little more information, but I don't have the greatest credit, but even my credit card is half that, if not more.
Yeah.
I know mine is right around like the 10 mark. So, and my credit's not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to pretend. But 26.99 is ridiculous.
That's like super inflated.
Yeah, somebody did the math. If you bought one game a month and paid the minimum payment, it would take you like 30 years to pay it down. You'd end up paying like $1,000 more than what you would have had you just bought cash for the games. So, honestly, the only people I can ever see this working for is people who want to build their credit and, maybe buy like 2 games on it and then just stop using it and then pay that down.
Yeah.
So people who have bad credit and can't get a credit card, this might be good for them. But that's it. If you're thinking to use this to buy games, don't do it.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah. So, like when I first read it, I was like, oh, that could be cool. And then, as I read it, I was like, no.
Yeah, the more you read in that article, I was like, oh my god.
and then I punched the monitor, and now I need a new monitor.
Mm.
No.
So PS4 firmware update just came out, and now it supports Blu-ray or 3D Blu-rays.
Yeah, that's
pretty neat.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that adds a little more value to it.
Mhm.
Xbox One, I almost said 360.
Mhm.
Xbox One will be getting this probably next month.
Next month,
So
yep.
PlayStation again is kind of getting the jump on it, but nobody's gonna buy it for that.
Yeah.
And, honestly, you need the TV, you need the glasses, you need the
The
firmware,
movies.
the movies. So if you already have that investment, you probably already have something that can do it.
Mhm.
It's just kind of a nice little bonus.
Yep.
Speaking of Xbox Live Gold, which I can't take advantage of, Dishonored and Strike Suit Zero will be your games for gold this month,
Mhm.
coming the month of August. This is, actually pretty decent. Dishonored's not the newest game, but it's decent.
Yeah.
But they did kind of jip out because they're not giving you any of the DLC. So
Yeah.
Strike Suit Zero's all right. I mean, it's kind of like a B release, but it's something.
This story was pretty interesting. The Gay Station 4 is up for auction in Sweden.
I was actually talking to Nikki about this one. I was like, this is, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a gay, lesbian. What they have like an official name: the lesbian, gay, transgendered, bisexual. I forgot bisexual.
There you go.
LGBT, and there's also a Q on there. They added that.
Questionable.
It's weird. But they put the queer on there. I've noticed that acronym before. I'm like, when did they add the Q for queer?
Anyway, the Gay Station 4 is up for auction in Sweden.
Mhm.
When I last checked, it was at almost $3,000 or 180,000 SEK, which is apparently their thing. If you want to bid on it,
currency.
you got to kind of go through some hoops if you're in America. But it's pretty cool to check out. I mean, it's for their Pride celebration, and it's cool. I mean,
it goes to support people that are seeking asylum there and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So go Sweden. They make good chocolate and support gays
And blondes.
and blondes.
They make blondes.
They make blondes. I don't think they make them. I think they're just there. You don't say Germany makes Nazis. They just came from Germany.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, Walking Dead Season 3 has been confirmed.
We are so behind.
Yes.
We are so behind.
Mhm.
Episode 4 is out today. Actually, I think it came out yesterday.
Oh.
It
It came out
this week.
Yeah.
So we have not played any of them. This is from the show that last year did a special on it.
Yeah.
We are so behind. I downloaded all of
Wolf Among Us?
Wolf Among Us, so we have all of that,
Cool.
which we did actually do episode 1 of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we haven't even touched Walking Dead Season 2, and now they announced Season 3, so we got to at least play it by next year.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, maybe it might be better this way. Just so we can, get it all, not necessarily all at once, but not have to wait.
Binge Walking Dead.
Yeah, kind of like how I've been with on Netflix the last couple days.
Yeah.
Instead of sleeping, I'm just watching Netflix.
Right. Last of Us, we talked they're getting a live action movie, and it actually seems to be moving at a pretty rapid pace compared to other video game movies, like the Warcraft movie. But people who are fans of Game of Thrones may be interested to know that Arya Stark, I can't think of her real name now.
Yeah.
Which I should probably put that in there. Will most likely play Ellie. Like, she's in pretty major talks for it, and I actually think that's a pretty decent casting.
That ain't bad. She could use the exposure, and
she's actually a pretty good actress. So for her age, so I think she could pull it off.
Yeah, I definitely think she could do the part.
I mean, they could have got Ellen Page, and then it would have just looked exactly
like her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's another good choice, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do that.
They did post the live show online.
Oh, okay. I was figuring they might do that.
You could see all of that except they did an epilogue afterwards. That isn't in the game, but they didn't post that. They're like, that's just for people who saw the show. So, but you can watch the live show that we talked about last week online. It's there in its entirety on YouTube. It's more like a table read, but you kind of get the gist.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Firefly Online. That was another kind of interesting news story from San Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the cast from the Firefly show are going to reprise their roles.
I mean, not like Nathan Fillion doesn't have enough money.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have never seen Firefly. I know it's like a sin, but I've seen Serenity. I think that's got to count for something. I like
Yeah.
Serenity. I'll have to watch it. I mean, that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
That might be something I have to watch because I know it's like one season and it's like one and done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, there's only like 13 episodes, I think. And yeah, I mean, I watched it after the fact. You know, I think I got the DVDs or I got the DVDs or something. And I watched the show. Me and my brother watched it, and then the movie came out. I remember we like went to the theater and like it was like a very small turnout to go see it. But you know, me and him went there and like, you know, we laughed, we cried.
it's a very dedicated crowd, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Of-
Yeah,
It had a very particular set of people there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Star Trek movies.
Yeah, well, old Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
movies.
the new ones are a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're probably watching us on Twitch. If not, you're definitely watching us through Twitch.
Mhm.
Well, we have to bow to our new Google overlords. I mean, Google bought Twitch for $1 billion.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much final. So, you know, make sure you sign up for Google Plus because I'm sure that's going to get rammed down people's throats. Honestly, I hope they don't touch Twitch too much because
Yeah.
Twitch is kind of worked up to the point. Obviously, for us, it's more than what we need. But for like the streaming, like they did, you know, the international and stuff, which we're going to talk about in a second. You know, all the major streamers and stuff,
Mhm.
popular people like Athene and, you know, Kriparian and those people who pull Day 9, that pull like tens of thousands of viewers every night or every
Yeah.
time they stream. You know, they've worked up a good system for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope for them they don't mess with it too much.
Yeah.
I hope, honestly, they just put a little like Google money at it and increase the background stuff. Like, people have talked to me about the podcast, and they say, well, sometimes it stutters and stuff. So, you know, maybe it'll help with that.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
Right.
Yeah, that would be cool. Dragon Age Inquisition was delayed to November, from October to November.
Yeah.
This is pushed back a few weeks. But Battlefield Hardline has been pushed back from October to sometime next year.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because Hardline is running on the Battlefield 4 engine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they pushed it back so much for. I do know that people who played the beta said it was terrible. So like it was almost, you know, there's always people on the internet like, oh, this is stupid, you know, the trolls.
Oh yeah.
But it was almost universally hated. Like I haven't seen that much hate thrown at a beta in years. Like it honestly, that even like Elder Scrolls Online, people didn't hate on it that much. They were like, you know, it's kind of but they were like, but it has good points. Hardline people were like, this is stupid. Like this is.
Did you play the Destiny beta at all?
I tried.
Oh, okay.
But every time I tried to sign in, it was down for maintenance, and now it's over. I did see footage of the PlayStation 3 version. Obviously, I didn't try it on Xbox because it didn't work. But it didn't seem that big of a difference. But I did, you know, like we talked about, I did hear that it might be coming to PC. So I'm gonna hold off. You know, I had a couple people that I know played it, and they were like, "Yeah, it's really good." But it's not anything you should go out of your way for quite yet.
Yeah.
So there you go. The international, we did talk about that a lot last week. The final numbers are in. Over 20 million people watched the whole tournament, unique viewers, and over 2 million tuned in for the finals, the whole finals. I think their peak was like 2.5 million or something.
Nice.
During one of the games. I don't think it was the last game. So that's pretty good. That doesn't include a lot of stuff like ESPN.com, the Chinese broadcasting, a couple other, streaming sites. So that's actually really good. Like I was actually looking at some stuff and like the NHL,
NHL.
the NHL finals typically draws between 2 to 4 million, which is probably the bottom rung sport for US.
Yeah.
NBA finals draws about 6 to 14 depending on where.
Yeah, the market
right
for the teams.
Well, just where in the tournament it is.
Okay.
Like, if it's in like the finals, like the actual NBA finals, typically draws over 10 million. But like other playoffs, range.
Okay, I got you.
World Cup for the U.S. Over these last matches drew between 8 and 12. And the final game that the U.S. played drew over 20. So obviously 2 million is not catching up that. But it gives you some levity to the situation that it's gaining steam.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably say probably over 3.5 million people probably watched it in the U.S. If you throw in China, specifically for the finals, since both teams were Chinese, you're probably looking at least over 4 million.
Yeah.
So that's actually really good. I'm really excited. The international in terms of production was amazing. Like people, have been talking about it. It was on CNN. It was on Fox News. Both of which I'm really disappointed in. You should really look up the interviews because they're both really bad.
The coverage that they did.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like
worse than that Mass Effect 1 like sex scene scandal.
Basically, like both of them, CNN and Fox News, basically are like, this is stupid. Why would people want to watch people play video games? And everybody in like the gaming community are like, are you guys stupid? Do you not realize that Google just bought Twitch for $1 billion? Obviously, this is something that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you should definitely check out CNN's coverage of it because that one actually made me laugh because it's like somebody saw this on ESPN and is like, this is stupid. And they're like, all right, well, I'm going to do a news show. And they did no like fact checking. It is honestly like Fox News level of fact checking, and Fox News actually was about the same. So,
dang.
But it's growing in popularity. Dota 2 is pretty popular. League of Legends still pulls higher numbers, but in terms of production, I think the international set a new bar. And they actually talked about Valve, how the international has changed Valve as a company, and Valve is going to start putting stuff out yearly, which for Valve has never happened. They're like Blizzard, when it's done, it's done. But now they're like, oh crap, we have this spectacle every year that we have to do. So they treat it like a game release every year now. So they did interviews with like Gabe, and he talked. Obviously, he's not directly involved in it as much anymore. But they talked to him. They talked to a lot of the planners and stuff, and they were like, it's a game release for us. The amount of work, the lead up, everything. So, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And, for other stuff, too.
For sure.
Like Hearthstone. I think Heroes of the Storm has a chance to get that popular. Not just because it's Blizzard, but because the game itself is shaping up nicely. They've done some questionable things recently, which I'll talk about when I launch the series. But I think in the end, I think it's going to be pretty competitive. Hearthstone is ridiculous. Like, Hearthstone is getting really popular. Last time I checked, one Hearthstone streamer, the top streamer, and I can't think of his name now, some kid. He looks like he's like 12, but I think he's older than that. He was really good at it. He had like 14,000 some people watching him.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous for a card game. So, we'll see how it goes. No deal of the week this week. I always have that safety net of the Humble Bundle, but the Humble Bundle this week is all Flash Kids games. Like the old Flash Kids games, like Robot Reader and stuff like that. So, if you have kids, it's a good deal.
There you go.
But obviously not one of the bigger packages. Green Man Gaming has their typical 20% off some stuff. But, there was really no like major sale.
Slow week.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good time of year. Summer has a few big releases, but Late summer is a good time of year to dip into that backlog, which is, what I've been doing, especially with, like Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, because I've had them, but I haven't sunk as much time into them as I wanted to.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to do the series on them. I mean,
Cool.
I suck at Hearthstone and I suck at Heroes of the Storm. I could do so many I suck at games, especially if I chose StarCraft or something that's super highly competitive. I would be terrible at.
Maybe in September, when I have more time, I might have to finish Star Trek. I mean, that game was so bad I had to stop.
I know. It's our one series for a game that has an ending that we haven't finished.
Yeah.
We've done other games that have been bad and finished them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
So
that was that. I should go back and watch my Let's Plays. 'Cause I've been watching Deus Ex: The Invisible War. I've been the second Deus Ex game.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I was like, that's the older one, right?
Yeah, it's older. It is older. It came out in 2003 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I should watch my Star Trek one just to see where I left off, to feel that burn from that really bad game.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us tonight. You have to morph and teleport off to your next destination.
Yes.
So I don't want to hold you up. If I get this Xbox thing resolved, I may do the first Heroes of the Storm tonight. But I'm not going to stream it because I want to get some stuff worked out.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future I'll stream it.
Get your workflow together.
Right. Yeah. So, and I don't want to make a promise because I have to wait on Microsoft's tech support.
Mm-hmm.
So last time it was a pretty good experience. I have to say last time,
when I talked to them the last time, they were pretty nice.
The cool thing was, first of all, I'm going to try it over chat because it's a pretty simple billing issue. So hopefully they could just be like, oh yeah, it's this. And I'll be like, okay, I want to pay it, use this payment that I already have saved, and just charge it and, activate it. So hopefully that goes quick. But, if I do have to call, they have that feature where you say okay, call me in 5 minutes, or, here's my name, call me when you're first available. So you're not sitting on hold, they call you.
Yeah.
So that'll, if I have to do it that way, I will. But maybe Heroes of the Storm afterwards. Maybe not. It just depends. But it's coming. I'm going to shoot at very latest for the first episode to be out by the 15th, just to give myself a hard date. Hearthstone is going to be a lot easier because those games are so I've played Hearthstone games where it's lasted 5 minutes or 15 minutes. So they're quick games. So, all right, that'll do it. It's morphin' time.
See you next week. Yep.
Gamers Digest is a Spider-One and Mr. Factastic production. All characters and games are owned by their respective companies and are used under the Fair Use Law. Check out Gamers Digest at gamersdigest.me, on YouTube under Gamers Digest Podcast, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at The Gamers Digest. Viewer questions and comments can always be sent to gamersdigestpodcast@gmail.com. See you next week.